Hey, how are we all doing today? Good. I'm so excited and honored that you guys chose to spend an hour with me today to talk about 5 ways to level up your retail brand. Now, there is nothing I hate more than attending a talk and feeling like I'm getting lectured to. So I really want this to be a collaborative experience with us. Throughout the presentation, I'm going to be sharing the 5 ways, and I kind of want to pause after each way because I'm sure you guys are going to have questions. So I am here to answer them. If there is something specific to your brand in your store that you want to get some insight on, raise your hand, and we have Ava in the back who is going to be running around with the microphone, and I can answer that for you guys. Okay, so hey everyone. As you just heard, I am Kayla. It's so nice to meet you. If you can't tell, I'm a lover of all things colorful and fun. I am also a dog mom to 3 dachshunds, hence the name of my design studio, Dox Design. If you're a dachshund owner, you know that they are some sassy individuals, which just fits my personality very well. But also, I am an educator, a speaker, and most importantly, a leader of my team at Dox Design on all things branding and design, which we're going to talk about today. So Dox Design is a full-service branding and design studio. I have a team of 5 designers that I have the pleasure of leading to help rebrand businesses like you. I love working with small businesses because I get to know each and every one of your stories and why you started your brand in your business, and we get to help you visually express that. This needs to be updated because we've now worked with over 200 brands. You might see some familiar faces in this little snapshot, helping them tell their visual story in a unique and interesting way. So a little bit about me and my story and why you should be listening to me today. You don't have to, but you know, since you guys are here, if you want to listen along. I always knew from a very young age that I wanted to be in the art field. I've always been an artsy and creative person. In high school, I was the editor of my yearbook, and my teacher was like, you know, you're kind of good at this. Have you ever heard of graphic design? At the time, I had not. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to try that. I went to art school, got my degree in graphic design, and had this big vision that I'm going to move to a big city. I'm going to work at one of the top agencies in the Midwest, work with big brands. And I did that. I worked with brands like Target, Georgia Pacific, Meijer, and I absolutely hated it. I hated going into the office every day. I hated leaving my dogs. I did not feel creative and inspired. I hated working for big corporations. And I had a midlife crisis at 23 years old and was like, I just went to school for 4 years to do what I thought I was always going to do in life. What's going to happen? So what did I do? I got married, bought a house. The week of my wedding, I told my husband, I'm going to quit my job and start a design studio out of our spare bedroom. And he said, what? And I'm like, too late. You already just married me. So there's no getting out of it. So we converted our spare bedroom into what was the first office of Dox Design. We started out primarily working with pet businesses. If you can't tell from the name and from the pictures of me cuddling dogs, we are really big dog people at Dox. That was the first year, and it very quickly grew into something I did not think it was going to. We are now in our 6th year of business. I have a full team of designers from Miami to Portland to New York, and we work with all types of retailers and product businesses and small business owners. A more recent chapter of my story, as Susan mentioned, if you guys saw me talk last year, I was very pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant. So I just had my first baby. This is her, Winter. I really thought I was prepared to be a parent because, you know, I'm an entrepreneur and I own my own business, and I was like, how much more hard can it be than that? Really hard. It's arguably one of the hardest and most beautiful jobs I've ever had. So just a little tidbit about me. But enough about me. You guys are here to learn about how you guys can level up your retail brand. And having a brand is so important. It's going to be the first step we talk about. But once we have a brand and we've laid that foundation of what a brand is, it's important for you to continue to work on that so you can level up. And we're going to talk about how we can do that today. Okay, so you're like, well, Kayla, what are the 5 ways that I can do? So we're going to talk about signage. We're going to talk about sales and promotion, shipping, and social media. But before we talk about that, we need to talk about your brand because it's at the center of what you do. If you heard my talk last year, there's going to be a little bit of repeat here, but hey, this is an important subject, so it's good to hear it twice. So first and foremost, the one thing I hear from my clients is, I have a logo. I have 2 colors in Canva. I use templates in Canva. I have a brand, Kayla. That's my brand. I put my logo on everything. Well, I hate to break it to you folks. Your logo is not your brand. Your logo is your colors, your fonts, your patterns, your tone of voice. It is your why. It is your story of why you started your business. I always use this example of, you know, you're doing good. You feel like you have enough. Our clients, Mad Harriet Ceramics in Chicago, had a competitor open right down the store from them that sold the exact same thing as them with a beautiful brand, a beautiful story. And she very quickly realized that what she was doing actually wasn't enough. She didn't have a brand. She didn't have a story. She didn't have a why that connected with her customers. She didn't have beautiful signage that when people walked in, they're like, whoa, this store really gets me. So really, we want you to leave today knowing what that lasting impact you are and what you want to make and how you can visually express it to your customers. So this is one of our clients, Mutts and Meows. They are a pet retailer. They have 2 stores in Nashville. As you can see here, we obviously did the logo because yes, that is a piece of the brand, but it is not the most important part. Could you imagine what her gift card would look like, what maybe her storefront would look like, what her 5th Saturday bag would look like if she didn't have the foundation of a brand, if she didn't have patterns, if she didn't have consistent fonts, consistent colors. When you look at this, it's very clear that it's coming from the same brand. It's very clear that you're going to get a splash full of color and a very loud and personality-driven team when you go in there, which is kind of what their whole brand is about. They're a very punny team. And if she just had the logo, which she did have before she came to us, but you know, we elevated it and gave her all the parts and pieces. Now she has that successful visual foundation to communicate to her customers. Fun fact, I actually didn't even design this gift card. She designed it herself. And she tells me all the time and time again, wow, now that I have that toolkit, like it's so easy for me to go into Canva and like I have everything and I know it's me and I know it represents my business and I can put it all together and make something that I know is going to be consistent. Which brings me to the step of actually picking all those things. So colors, fonts, logos. How many of you guys have opened up Canva before and you're like, oh my God, there's like 500 fonts in here, which one do I pick? Yeah, okay. Well, we want to be picking stuff with consistency and purpose, which is kind of the whole purpose of branding, is coming back to your why. So did you start your business because you love your pet and they had allergies and you wanted to be a store that provided natural solutions? Do you want to be more of like a naturally eco-friendly brand? Okay, we're probably not going to be picking neon bright colors and like handwritten funky fonts. Or are you a super personality-driven brand like Mutts and Meow? Are you loud and boisterous, and is that the reason that customers shop with you? Then it might make sense for you to pick more bright and bold colors and fonts that have a little bit more personality with them. It's really important to know who you are as a brand, who you are as a business, and your why, and it makes it a lot easier to consistently and purposefully pick these things. And once you have them purposefully picking, the one thing that a lot of clients fall off the wagon in is using them consistently. So you have your fonts, you have your colors. Are you using them everywhere? When you put out a social media post, when you put out a sign, are you using that stuff that you spent so much time to pick and to think about? So I'm going to talk a little bit really quick about some of the parts and pieces of a brand and how you can do that. I'm going to use our client Wonderment Good as an example. They are a jewelry store in Atlanta. She is a very whimsical and feminine and soft brand. And so when she came to us, we really wanted that to be reflected. She had a beautiful story of why she started her jewelry store. When she was younger with her grandfather, she used to hunt for opals with him. So she's very much about whimsy, about wonder, hence the name Wonderment. So we wanted to make sure that that was reflected in her brand. She had originally had a super muted black and white brand, which I was like, girlfriend, like this is not you. You can just tell by the way that you dress and the way that you talk about your store. She was trying to do what every other jewelry store in Atlanta was doing. And by going against the grain and sticking true to who she was and what the core of her brand was and picking things with purpose with our team, she was able to soar. So like I said, whimsical, feminine, soft. These were the colors that we landed on. Usually we like to tell our clients to stick to around 5 brands or 5 colors. So 3 main colors, 2 accent colors. And the same goes with fonts. So you guys don't have to be spending hours and hours in Canva trying to pick the perfect font. Going back to figuring out who it is, why you are as a brand, and then making sure that your fonts reflect that. So just really quick recap for you guys. These are kind of the 4 categories of fonts that you can pick. So I tend to see like the more professional, natural brands tend to stick to like a serif typeface, for example. Where if maybe you're a more modern, a more sleek brand, sans serif. Or if you are more whimsical and have a lot of personality, something like a handwritten font or display font might make sense for you. And don't worry, I'm gonna pause after all this so I can answer you guys' questions. And then this is where Dox Design adds the secret sauce to the brand. So maybe you've been like, yeah, okay, I have a logo, I have some colors, I have some fonts, but this is probably what you're missing. This is what we call the visual toolkit. Patterns you're using, illustrations you're using, textures you're using, photo style. How many of you guys have maybe tried to put together a business card or like a sale sign really quick and you have like your font on a colored background and you're like, something's missing. Why is this not looking right? Like, why is it that Target signage is like so there and what are you missing? It's probably these. And you guys have an added benefit of being a smaller retailer. This is where you can start to tell your story. So for Wonderment Goods, we used all the shapes of some of her best-selling jewelry in her store to create a pattern. And we also kind of started to tell the story of, you know, her whimsical treasure hunting with her grandpa. So it's just an added layer that she's able to use to reinforce that story of her why with her customers. As you can see here, she actually won a trade show emerging store award when she showcased her new brand. As you can see here, it's all very consistent. It's all very purposeful. It looks like it's coming from the same brand. And one of my favorite stories to tell with her is this subscription box to the left, which we're going to get into. But if you can see above, this is a headband that she actually created as her own product using her brand illustration and pattern that our team created. Not a logo in sight on that headband, but it is very clear that it is coming from her brand. And her customers ate that headband up. They wanted that headband. It became like one of her best sellers in her store. And it's because it was representing her brand. And when people saw that headband, like I said, not a logo in sight, but they knew it was coming from Wonderment Goods. It was a visual representation of her brand. It was another level to kind of reinforce that story. Again, some little examples of you guys because you're retailers. I thought, hey, I'm going to show you guys some retail stores. This is our client, Lazy Creek in South Carolina. To the left is what their brand looked like before they did a rebrand with our team. I mean, it was okay. All the fonts are inconsistent though. There's like 7 different typefaces being used. They weren't using consistent colors, photography style. They also are like a really fun bunch of people. They do a lot of Instagram lives and they have a ton of personality and you would never know that from their current brand. To the right is our team rebranded them, clearly new logo, but more importantly than that, fonts, colors, illustrations, patterns. So as you can see, that sign's gonna catch your eye a lot better and tell the story of their brand and their personality than the one to the left. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna pause real quick, and I will have time for questions at the end, but before we kind of start diving into the thing, how are we all feeling about our brand? Has maybe that little section made you start to rethink it a little bit? Raise your hand if so. Yeah, how many of you guys have just a logo and thought that was your brand? Yeah. Okay, do we have any questions on any of that stuff? Colors, fonts, patterns. And if it comes to you later, you guys can ask too. But I'm just gonna pause and drink out of my emotional support water bottle real quick. Okay, that's fine. You guys will warm up. Okay, so you have a brand or maybe you don't and you're starting to think about, oh crap, I need to get that in line. But maybe you're like, okay, Kayla, I do have all those things. Like I have a pattern, I have some illustrations. So like I have a brand and it's all good, right? What do I do? So we're gonna talk about 4 ways that you can take that brand and implement it across your retail store and your, as Bob always says, omnichannel experience to make you guys just that much stronger. And the first thing, and arguably I think one of the most important things for retailers is signage. Okay, so this is one of our clients, Piccolo Mondo Toys. We're in the process of rebranding them right now. They are all about showcasing toys from around the world. So they do monthly features on different toys from different countries. So the whole process of rebranding them, we really wanted to bring that to the forefront. As you can see, our team created this custom pattern that brings in different icons from around the world. They're also based in Portland, Oregon, so it was important for us to showcase that in the pattern as well. So throughout the store, when it comes to the cash wrap or the signage of what they're selling, you can now see with her brand that it is all very clearly coming from the store. So I want to ask you guys, if you were walking down Main Street, which store would scream to you that this is a hunting and fishing store that is family owned and is really key is community and family? The one to the left or the one to the right? Yes, the one to the right. So this is Maxwell Hunting and Fishing. We met them last year here at Whiz-Bang. We had the pleasure of rebranding them. So to the left is what their storefront looked like before the rebrand, and it's because they just had a logo. They didn't have colors. They didn't have illustrations. They didn't have fonts. They didn't even know what to do on the storefront. As you can see to the right, you can see some of the illustrations our team created and how we started to work them into the windows. The new color of their building matches the color of their brand. The sign is obviously a sign with their new logo. So I want to talk about signage with you guys. Does your storefront engage and welcome your customers? So as we said here, the one to the right's obviously telling a story quicker and is going to catch someone's eye a lot better than the one to the left. So are you trying to say, hey guys, we sell party supplies in here and you're going to have a good time when you walk through this door? Is your storefront saying that? Or do you have dusted windows and a ripped up sign up front? The storefront is one of the most important things. I mean, I think all of you maybe have been in the situation where you're walking down the street. So me, for example, like I said, I'm a colorful person. So when I see a colorful storefront that has like really fun graphics on the window, I don't even know half the time what the store is, but I go into it because I'm like, oh, I know it's speaking to me and that there's probably gonna be something in here that I wanna buy. So I want you guys to start thinking about that in that terms. Is your storefront and the colors and the display and the signage speaking to your customer? Are you giving your customer a taste of what is to come? So is your storefront like super modern and posh and then they walk in and it's like a more like natural store? You want to make sure that it's matching up to who you are as a brand. You want to make sure that your storefront is giving your customers a taste. And then when they get in your store, Bob has talked about this a lot, are your products labeled with pizzazz? The sections of where they can shop, the actual sale signage, the product signage, are you injecting personality into that? Are you using that as a way to educate your customers? It is a sales tool at the end of the day. And how is that working? So this is where we're going to talk about some ideas and some brainstorming for you guys. Something simple you guys can do when you leave here today. Window clings. They're very cost effective. Do you guys have some fun illustrations or patterns for your brand that you can cut out? This is one of our clients, Bath and Biscuits. They're a grooming and pet retail store. These were some of the dogs we illustrated for them. She got them, I didn't even give her this idea. She did it herself. She got these printed out really big and put them on the bottom of all of her windows. So when someone's walking past her store, it's very clear that this is a store for pets. These illustrations and this illustration style is throughout her entire brand. So when you get her business card, when you get a gift card, when you go on her website, her social media, it is all very clear it's coming from the same brand. Other things, murals, wallpaper, like I said, section signage. Is there a space in your store that you can invest in some custom wallpaper and put it up and really making a statement? Brainstorm some more. Okay, our signs. This is something that all of you guys probably have, and maybe you just have in like simple Times New Roman fonts. This is where you can start to have fun with it. One of my favorite things is there's a donut shop. I'm from Ann Arbor, Michigan. The O in their hours is a donut, and I'm like, ugh, what a simple little like fun thing, but it like catches your eye when you're walking past the door. It was a fun little creative thing they did with their hour sign. Again, your storefront, what are your windows looking like? Do you have an A-frame out there? Do you have a big sign above your door? Really start to think about that. Or even the door itself, is your building allow you to paint the door your brand color? Start to think about how you can inject the brand into that. Like I said, cash wrap, again, this is my example of Bath and Biscuits. They're a really small retail store, but they really use their brand to its fullest potential. She got like a rug with the illustration on it, a vinyl that she put on. I was like really impressed. I'm like, girl, I just gave you this brand like 2 weeks ago and you already got all this up. So like I said, when you're on the outside of the store, you see the brand illustrations and then you come in and check out and you see it again. It's a consistent experience with their brand. And then pricing signage. This is in Florida. Our clients, Yola Pets, again, another pet retailer, told you guys we love dogs. So we created a bunch of sign templates for them that they can use. So all of their signage in their store is theirs. It used to just be a white piece of paper that they did in Microsoft Word and taped it up. But they invested in these really nice like wooden holders, and our team designed the templates for them. And now their whole store is signed and branded. Okay, I told you I'm going to keep stopping and asking questions. So is anyone getting confident to ask about signage, brand? Yes?
If you're doing signage in your store for say departments and you have other brands, so product brand for us is simple stores, how do you balance your brand versus their brand? Because customers are coming in for us.
Yeah. That's a good question. I think I've seen for like section signage is probably where that comes into play a little bit more. So like say, for example, you're a makeup store and you're holding a bunch of different brands of makeup, but you have like, there's one by us where it's like, they're really big into skincare. So it's like the skincare section. So they have a bigger sign above the entire section that says skincare that has like their brand font and their illustration. And then they have like the secondary signage that's more like that, that actually tells the brand. But what they also did, which was really fun, then they have like a third piece of signage that is like store picks or employee picks, and that's branded by them. So yes, I understand you're still holding other brands. So like yours should be like bigger, like section sign, theirs, and then you have ways that you can work in the brand as well. Yeah.
If you haven't really taken signage to the next level, what would your like top 3 picks of where to start? Like the most important.
Storefront, because no one's gonna come. That's how you're gonna get people into your store. So I would look at your windows, your big store sign, your hour sign, things like that. I think that's the most important. I personally do think cash wrap is important, and that's because we're gonna get into this in a little bit. If you have some sort of wow moment in your store with like a custom wallpaper or a neon sign, that becomes a social media moment that people will take pictures of and share your store. And I can't tell you how many times I personally have found stores from friends like snapping on Instagram and tagging them really quick. So it's having some sort of like wow moment in the store, and I think cash wrap's a cool place to do that for sure. And then I'm gonna go off of Bob's recommendation here and do product signage, because like I was saying with the makeup store, I'm sure you guys have been in bookstores before where they like tell you what the book is, and like we recommend this one. Anything that you can personalize or talk about the product a little bit, and especially if it's in your brand tone of voice, like say you're a little bit more funny or maybe you're a little bit more serious, I think that's a good way to start to show your personality to your customers. If maybe you won't have an opportunity to interact with them, that signage is an opportunity to do that. Yeah.
Those window clings.
Yeah.
Where do you get those?
That's a great question. Yeah, Vistaprint actually does them. If you literally, if you Google window clings print, there's like a bajillion online printers. However, we are all about supporting local here, right? So if you guys do have a local printer, and I guarantee you guys probably have one in your area, my clients have had the most luck having a relationship with that printer. I can't tell you how many times they've gone above and beyond with like doing free shipping, or like, oh, we don't normally do this, but like here, we're gonna work with you and do it. So I would check local first, but then obviously there is online stores like Moo, Vistaprint, there's 1,000 of them. Yeah. Aha, we're gonna talk about that in a little bit. Yes, I think that is a good way to keep your brand fresh. Now what I've seen is having a base and building on that. So for example, that client I showed, Bath and Biscuits, she has the dogs. Around Christmas time, she puts like little Santa hats and like elf hats on them and then puts snowflakes around them. On Easter, she puts like little Easter, So there is a way to like have a base and then like work around it. But yeah, that is a really fun way to keep things new and exciting. Yeah. Okay, sorry, I can't. Ava, do you mind giving her a microphone? 1 minute. Sorry, it's hard for me to hear you all the way back there.
I'm asking about storefront.
Okay.
If you're a standalone destination place.
Okay, so you're like not in a strip, you got your own building? Okay, well, so if you have time to explore Grand Rapids today, I would head down to East Town. There's a store called Commune GR. They are exactly that. They are their own standalone building. They painted a really fun mural on the side of their building. Again, you gotta have to see if you're able to do that. But they are like inspired by like Southern California, like home decor is like their whole thing. So they have like this beautiful like desert landscape painted on the side, and they painted their door pink, and it's like very clear what you're gonna get when you go in there. So like arguably, I would say you kind of have a little bit more real estate even than maybe some that would be in strip malls or on Main Street, because you have the whole building to work with. So like, is there a side of the building that you could do? You're not allowed to? Okay, so you're stuck to the front. Are you allowed to have like A-frames out in the front or anything like? Oh, they won't let you do anything? Okay, well, can you at least do like a sign on the front, or can you do like window displays? Okay. Are you allowed to do anything in the windows? Yeah. Okay, I would use the windows. Do some fun stuff on the windows. You got to use what you work with. I hate when people like, come on, man. We'll talk after too. If you have pictures, I can help you with some ideas. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, no, I've seen that work really well. I think, again, it's got to like be reflective of your brand. Like if you're like this super like high class posh like store, sometimes I think window painting can come off a little bit more like, oh, we're like warm and welcoming and like more family friendly. So I would just make sure that it makes sense for your brand. I don't think it's bad though. I've seen that done successfully for sure. Okay, I'm gonna keep going really quick just because I don't want to run out of time, and I promise there'll be questions at the end. Okay, so you have a brand, you have a sign. What is next? We are going to talk about sales and promotions. So again, I'm a very visual person, clearly, so I'm gonna share some visuals with you guys. This is one of our clients, Attitude Dance and Activewear. We met them here last year at Whizbang, completely rebranded them. This is one of their fun promotions they do. As you can see here, new logo, illustrations, fonts, colors, patterns, all clearly going together. To the right is one of our clients, Belly Rubs. They are a biscuit bar. This is a fun little promotion they do called Belly Rubbin' Tips on social media, and they also have them throughout their store as well. So again, I'm gonna ask you guys, if you were in a store and they were running an event, they were running a promotion, and they had this laying out in their cash wrap, would you guys stop and read the one to the left or stop and read the one to the right? Right, yeah. So as you can see, again, this is Maxwell Hunting and Fishing. Now you know what their storefront looked like. You're getting into their store, you're seeing their sales and promotions. It's very clear it's all coming from the same brand. Same font, same color, same pattern. Very outdoorsy hunting vibes, right? We weren't gonna use pink for this brand, for example. So let's talk about sales and promotions. Is it memorable? Or are you just doing buy one, get one off? Does it tie back to your why? Why did you start your business? Like Bob was saying on the main stage, are you passionate about pets? Do you want to give back to animal shelters? The other clothing store example that he was sharing, how they buy back clothes. Thinking about sales and promotions and how it ties back to your why and who you are as a brand. Is it engaging to your customers, and is it on brand? And when I say is it on brand, can you put your spin on it? Rock, paper, scissors. Again, I'm from Ann Arbor, and I know that Bob just used this as an example, but Lisa does such a fabulous job of all of her events and promotions. She's a very fun, I like to say edgy. Bob used another word, but she's a little edgy. You swear words in her social media. And you can tell from the events and stuff and that she puts on that is who she is and that's her brand. So what are some ideas for sales and promotions? Events, that's a big one. How can you put your spin on events? Punch cards, collaborations. Is there other stores, other brands, other products that align with your mission, your vision, who you are as a brand that you guys can collaborate with? And I like to say a clever play on a classic. So for example, I just used the example of buy one, get one off. Like how can you put your spin on that for your brand? Like is there something unique about you and what you sell and what you do that you can do that for? These are just a couple examples here. Our client Modern Companion, a pet retailer down in South Carolina. They do a barking lot party every year. So these are some of her brand illustrations. And then we made like really fun social media graphics and event signage for it. And then our friends over at Piper Moon, they are a gift store. They're in a really big college town, so they get a lot of traffic on game days. So they have Piper Moon game days and they do events and they sell, college inspired gear. So originally she would use like this super like collegiate font. She was like, oh, it's a college game day, but like her store is like very like whimsical and girly and like that's her brand. And I was like, if you're going to do an event and promotion, it should still reflect who you are as a brand. So just because it's a game day and it's college doesn't mean we have to put footballs everywhere. Like, is there a way that we can still use your brand and make it true to you? So this was kind of like a submark that we created for her to promote her game day event that she does. So what are some things that you guys can do? If you do the Fifth Saturday bags, which is a promotion that Whizbang puts on, is there a way that you can brand the bags? So actually this example here, this is 3 Happy Hounds. Elena's here. I think she's in the other room because she's like, I've heard you talk enough, Kayla. These are the bags that our team created for her. And they're a takeaway now. Her clients love them. They're an actual branded gift that they get for the promotion. You can do a hang tag on the bag. Is there a way to do that? Takeaways in your business. The one client I was just talking about, Modern Companion, they have these pop cups they give out to their little doggy customers. So whenever they come, they have these branded cups. They have a beautiful social media moment in the back of it. They put whipped cream and a branded bone on top. And so many people take pictures of these pop cups when they're in their store. Again, product features. Is there a way that you can make it more unique into your brand? Gift guides. Things like this nature. Is there a way, once you have a brand and you can work with it, that you can continue to extend it? Okay, so you did a sale and a promotion. We're gonna talk about shipping, but again, I'm gonna pause really quick for questions on sales and promotions. No, okay, we're going. I feel like we're gonna have a lot of questions on shipping. Okay, so shipping. Let's talk about shipping. I think what I saw was during COVID, a lot of retailers came to us for this specifically because everyone had to move to e-commerce and online. So one of the examples I always love to use is Bob always talks about the knitting company and how she has customers all over the world. Well, we have a lot of clients like that too. And a lot of times them buying online or buying through Facebook and getting the product shipped to them is the only way that they're ever interacting with that customer store. So your shipping experience should be like a little mini store that you're shipping to them. The more that it is on brand, the more that it is a unique experience, that it is memorable, that it is a wow factor, that customers will actually share it. And I'm going to share a story about that. And also it's just reinforcing that brand piece. It's reinforcing your why. It's showing that you're not Amazon throwing it in a brown paper box, that this is thoughtful. This is coming from a small business. So this is one of our clients, Fido and Stitch. They're actually right down the road. If you have a dog, you definitely want to go check them out. They have a fun thing called the Bone Box. All 3 of my dachshunds are participants of this. So to the left was the Bone Box they had before working with us, which, okay, like, yes, I still got a cute picture of my dog opening it, obviously, because they're adorable. But the box to the left or the box to the right? Which one gets you more excited to like want to open up that box and stage your dog next to it and take a picture? The one to the left or the one to the right? Right, yes. So having an elevated shipping experience not only gets your customers more excited, but it also allows you to charge a little bit more of a premium price for it because they're not just buying the product that's inside of it, they're also buying the unboxing experience. So let's talk about shipping. 1, do you offer this? And if not, how can we get this in your guys' repertoire? Does it wow your customers, or is it just a brown box? And would they share it? And I told you guys I was going to share a story of why I think shipping boxes are so important. This is our client, Dogs of Charm City. They are in Maryland. This is the first week she launched her box. She tells me all the time that damn box, Kayla, did not think it was gonna go over so well. She does like party supplies for dog birthdays. Her target audience was crazy millennial dog moms, AKA people like me. So we designed her brand in a way to look like that. We wanted it to not be like this super buttoned up professional like dog brand. We wanted it to be very pink and bubbly and colorful. And when we created the brand, we then created the shipping box that she ships out to people. She does all kinds of boxes. She has like a bark day box she sends. She has like a new puppy kit she sends. This was the first one we launched, and it was just if people were buying stuff from her store, she would ship it in this box. And this is just one of the like many pictures she got the week we launched it of like the dog sitting next to the box. And what happened was people, because we built the brand and the box to connect in a way, were so excited about it, taking a picture of their dog next to the box, tagging her in it. That person is sharing it to their feed, to their followers who also are crazy millennial dog moms, because let's be honest, like the type of people that you are attracting, they have friends and family that are the same as them. And they were like, whoa, that box, where'd you get it? Boom. She has now shipped this box to all 50 states in the United States. This was 3 years ago. So again, it's really worth it because you are connecting with customers. It is a way they're interacting with your brand, and it doesn't just limit you to who's shopping on your main street. She's now opened up all 50 states to have loyal customers that shop with her. So some ideas for shipping. Obviously, if you can, doing the full mailer box, but I understand that cost can be a thing. So there are things like packing tape, hang tags, custom tissue paper, care cards. This is one of our clients, Kelsey Elizabeth Bakery. They're a huge bakery chain down in the Midwest. These are one of the care cards that our team designed that she puts in all of her shipping. So as you can see, it might not be a full branded box, but when they open it, they still get a branded touch point that's important to them. Another thing I seen a client do, which I absolutely loved, was with a QR code, and she is very eco-friendly, so she wanted to cut down on the paper that she was putting in. So when you open up her box, it's a QR code and you scan it and it's a video of her, which I just thought was so cool because like her whole brand is about her as a person. So you scan the QR code and it pulls up a video of her like personally thanking the person for shopping for them. So that's a fun little thing that you guys can look into. I just thought, oh, what a good idea. Stickers, insert, poly mailers. And even though this like technically isn't shipping, even like wrapping paper or gift wrapping in your store, like if you have the opportunity, I have a lot of stores by us that do it, but it's just like random wrapping paper, like invest in some really fun wrapping paper that has your brand pattern on it or uses your brand colors. It's just another touch point that reinforces who you are. Okay. Shipping boxes. I feel like we're gonna have questions on these. I get a lot of questions on shipping and like where to print it and what to do, and yes.
So where do you find would be the best place to look for like wrapping paper that maybe had your brand on it?
Yeah. Okay, so I really like Pack Lane. They're called Pack Lane, PACK Lane, and Uprint. Uprint would probably be a good one. They do like tissue paper, packing, poly mailers, stickers, all of that. Pack Lane is more of like the boxes. They do have some tissue paper and stuff like that, but those are the two places that we recommend the most. Yes. Dog's a charm city. Yeah. Yeah, not a massive difference. I would say it's really hard to say because when it comes to shipping boxes, it's all about the quantity you're gonna get, the size you're gonna get. So I can't like answer specifically, with that. But I just know in the past with customers that maybe we're a little bit more cost sensitive. What we've done in the past is there's a website called Paper Mart, and they sell colored mailer boxes that are maybe just like a couple cents more than getting like a brown one. So I've had clients in the past like be like, oh, my brand color's pink, so I'm gonna get a pink mailer box, and instead of it having anything outside, when they open it, there's gonna be an insert or something like that. So, just being a little bit more thoughtful like that. What was that? Paper Mart. Yeah. M-A-R-T, yep. Mart.
When you have these people receiving something and using a social media moment, is it prompted
So, yeah, I'm sure you've seen like user-generated content and all of that stuff, like unboxing experiences. A lot of times, like if people just think that it's a cool experience and they connect with it, they will just film it. So we have designed some in the past where it's like snap a picture and tag us and blah, 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 but most of the time I've seen in the past that it is designed intentionally. You don't need to do that. With the Dogs of Charm City one specifically, we actually personalized it. So when you opened the box, so the front of the box says, you're gonna love this. And then you open it up and it said, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but then we like left a line and she would handwrite the dog's name on it. So why people loved it so much is they would open the box and then like sit their dog next to the box and be like, oh, cute little personalized moment. So, you don't have to be so explicit about it where it's like, hey guys, take a picture and tag this for 10% off. I mean, you can, but there's other ways where you can go around it and like have it be more of a social media moment. Okay. So last one we're gonna talk about is social media. And I know you're all like, I feel that way too about social media. But don't worry, I'm not Crystal. I'm not a social media management company and I don't know all that, but I do know how to make your social media posts look good and how to make your profile look professional and how to implement your brand, which is what we're gonna talk about. So don't worry, we're not gonna talk about hashtags or anything. So these are two of our clients, just a kind of quick example. One is Lazy Creek Pets, which was the first one I showed you guys with their signage. So they won the state's best 2022 winner. And instead of just sharing like the blurry badge on a white background, they took the time to like make this very nice social media post that had the badge on it, but still had their brand on it, like using their brand fonts and illustrations and stuff. So when people were starting to share that, like, oh, congrats, it wasn't not clear who it was coming from. It was very clear who it was coming from, because if they would have just put that badge out there on a white background and people were sharing that to their Instagram stories or sharing it, you wouldn't have even known like who that was coming from. So taking that extra like 2 seconds to like have those elements to work with and to make the post more branded really did them well. Same goes with sharing reviews. Like you're just sharing like a screenshot of the review, and like if you are you putting it on like the color of your brand background, or do you have like a nice little template you can use that has your brand colors and like has a little snapshot of your logo on the bottom and is something that you can use to share over and over again. So again, I'm gonna do a little game with you guys. This is our client, Attitude Dancewear. So to the left was them sharing a promotion before they rebranded it with us. And then to the right is a promotion that they shared with their new brand. So which one would catch your eye? One to the left or one to the right? Right, yeah, and how many of you guys are guilty of doing something like that to the left? It's fine, but yeah. And it's probably because you don't have that brand to work with and you're like in Canva and you're like, screw it, I'm just gonna type on my Instagram story and take a screenshot and share that. But again, if someone was sharing that post to the left, you have no idea where that is coming from. Granted, if she's sharing it, your like little profile photo is in the corner, but you guys know how people can reshare posts to Instagram or on Facebook and things like that. Having it branded to the right, it's very clear that it is coming from her brand. So let's talk about social media. Is it clear that it's coming from your brand? Reposting random graphics all the time for holidays. Do you have consistency? Now, like I said, I'm not a social media expert, but are you posting consistency? And is there a consistent feel on your feed when you're going to it? And do you use templates? If anything you guys leave here today, this is gonna blow your mind, is the templates in Canva and how you can like apply your brand to it and don't even have to think about it. So to the right, this is a paper goods stationery store that our team rebranded. They're in the Gulf Coast of Alabama. They're very much like country club vibes. So this is the brand our team did. And these were the social media templates our team gave to them. So every time they're posting something, it's very clear it's coming from their brand. So some ideas for social media. Do you use covers on your reels? Are you using your brand fonts in your story or something that is close to it in your brand colors? Are you using branded props in your photo? So for example, this is Hattie Darling. Like I said, they're very like coastal vibes. Their pattern was like floral. So she got all kinds of like cups and fun things that were in her brand colors. She had fun greenery, a tablecloth that was in her brand colors. So whenever she takes photos on a backdrop, it's like in her brand color. And she brings in little fun props so that the photos still are giving out who she is as a brand. And then to the left, again, this is our clients, Mutts and Meow. They shared their holiday orders or hours. They could have just typed it out really quick and shared it, but they took the time to do it in their brand fonts, do a brand illustration, make it fun, make it memorable, actually make it pop on their Instagram feed. So some really quick things that you guys can do. Instagram highlights. This is like one really missed opportunity I see all the time with retailers. Like you have that snapshot to use. A lot of times it's the first time people are interacting with you. It should be a reflection of like a digital storefront for you guys. So what do you want to share? And maybe you don't have brand illustrations, but you have brand colors. So the one on the bottom is kind of an example of a client of ours. Instead of using their illustrations, they use their brand colors as like the cover templates. Obviously, I'm a fan of the illustration route because we do all those. So there's a bunch of different ways you can do it, but that should be a quick snapshot of like who you are. Hey, so-and-so, we sell so-and-so, this is my story, this is who I am, about us. Sales, this is quick things that you guys can put up on there that if someone lands on your profile, they can quickly go through and look at. I'm gonna skip over to branded cover and profile images. This is a big one. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a store's Instagram photo and like a picture of their store is their profile photo instead of like their logo. Because your logo is representation of your brand and it's a little bit more professional, and that little tiny spot on Instagram is like this big. So if you just have like a picture of your storefront, it's not very clear to anyone. So especially on Instagram, I would change that profile photo to your logo. Facebook, you can get away with the photo, but as you can see here with Lazy Creek Pet Food, when you land on their Facebook, it's all branded and beautiful. They change this out every year for the holidays, like you were saying for window clings. They do like a new profile photo for like New Year's, Christmas. It's an opportunity to really have that be your digital storefront and to implement some of those branded pieces. And then, like I said, if we are gonna leave anything today, consistent templates. Now you could hire someone like us to create the templates, but there are tools at your disposal. Canva is one that I love. We actually, when we rebrand a client, we set up their Canva for them. If you don't already have like your branded tools written down, like if you don't have the 3 colors you use and the fonts you use and the logo you do, get on Canva today, canva.com, upload your logo, put in your hex code for your colors, pick out those couple of fonts, and literally they have thousands and thousands of templates you guys can use for business cards, gift cards, anything. And all you have to do is like apply your brand to it. So it's like already designed for you. And then you just change the fonts to your fonts, the colors to your colors, and put in your information. And then stick to like 3 or 4 of those templates and use those when you're promoting promotions and sales, events, items, product features on your social media. That way it's reinforcing your brand and it's clear that it's coming from you. Okay, so we're rounding the end. How am I on time? Where's Ava? Okay, woo, look at me go. Okay, so again, this kind of is my play on the omnichannel experience that Bob talks about, and it's that your brand is at the center of everything you do, and these 4 S's connect it all. So whether the first time someone's finding you is through a social media post, or maybe it's shopping on your website, or it's actually coming to your store or attending one of your events, it should all be a consistent experience that is visually and emotionally communicating to them who you are as a brand, what it is you're all about. And it all should be consistent, because if it is a chopped up experience, I can't tell you how many times I've been on someone's social media and I click on their website and I'm like, am I on the right website right now? I'm so confused. Why is this website hot pink and like super crazy, and their social media was like all black and white and muted? Like, what's going on here? So you want to make sure it's a consistent experience, because it not only elevates your brand, but it makes you be seen as more serious, as more competent, as Bob would say. So I want all of you to take a look at your brand right now. And what can you implement out of these 4 S's to level up? Do you even have a brand, or were you in here before you came in like, I got a brand, but now realizing that you don't? Is your signage up to par? Can you implement some sort of shipping experience that is super memorable? Is there a sale and promotion or event that you can put on that ties back to your brand? And leave today, and please make sure that your profile photo and cover photo are branded. So how can we help? If you guys want to get my eyes on your brand, we do have brand audits with me. It's an hour call, and I can take a look at your guys' brand and let you know what you can do to help. And if you're like, Kayla, I don't want to spend hours in Canva anymore, and I know I'm not good at this, we have what's called Design Days. So Attitude Dancing Company, we did all of their shopping bags, their wrapping paper, their storefront, all of that, and that's called our Design Days, and you can book a day with our team, and we can help you get your guys' brand up to snuff. Again, my name is Kayla. I own Dox Design. If you guys want to follow us at Dox.design, that is our website. That is our Instagram. We also have a Facebook community called Branding and Design Community for Entrepreneurs. We share a ton of design freebies in there. You could see some of our work at Dox.design, and this QR code is to book a brand audit with me. And I do have some time for questions. Good. Okay. Questions? Yes. A B+. That's good. Mm-hmm.
And now I'm venturing into, like, I have classes, we'll have online classes, so I really need to have that box done and all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fairly tied into what I love about all my little pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Do I still work with a company like you? Because I have no idea how I'm gonna do the box, and I need it to be that easy.
Yes, we've had a lot of customer or clients that come to us where it's like, I have like the bones of my brand, but I probably need like a couple more pieces elevated, and then I need you to like actually do the thing for me. So that's where our design day comes into play. A lot of our clients like will have a logo, some colors, they'll come to us, we'll create some patterns, some illustrations for them, and then we actually work on real things for them. So like a box, a bag, online ebooks, things like that.
I know what I want for packages. Like, I thought about it, but I don't know how to execute it.
Yes.
I don't know how to, like, source what to use.
Yeah, that's what so at the end of our design days, you get an instruction sheet from us, and we have tons of vendors over the past 5 years of doing this that we can get you guys in contact with. Yeah. Oh, wait, there was a lot of hands. Okay, I'm gonna just go back, so.
Okay, let's get a little mic.
Okay.
Otherwise, the rest of us can't hear you talk.
Yeah.
So my business is a quilt store, and we're in a building that's about 130 years old.
Okay.
So the front of the building has been redone and looks very historical,
Okay.
but inside we're all color. So how do you meld those two things together? Our logo color matches more with the outside of the building.
Okay.
But it's not really who we are on the inside.
Okay, so you're saying like in terms of your actual products are colorful, or like the inside?
Yeah, we're quilt fabrics.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear quilt fabrics, I kind of think of that like historical vibe. So I kind of love that for you, that your building's a little bit more historical and that your logo is. I don't think it matters that like your products aren't all the same color as your brand. Obviously, that would take a lot to do. I think though, in terms of like maybe what your cash wrap looks like the signage that you guys are using, is there a way that you can bring the two together? Is it a way where you're like, oh, I can, have it match my logo and have it be a little bit more historical, but start to implement some of that color? I guess my question for you would be, do you resonate with your brand being more of like, oh, like we want to like give off this like historical, like close-knit vibes, or do you want to be like more colorful and fun?
Both.
Both? I would meld the two together. There's a way to do it. That's not to say just because you want to be like taken more seriously and like be like more close knit that you can't use color at all. It's not like you don't have to stick to like a black and white vibe. I think there's definitely a way, like maybe the fonts are a little bit more serious and you use more of like a serif typeface that gives off more of that like historical signage vibe, but your colors are a little bit more fun.
Are there colors that would be better for, our vision is to be community-based, inclusive, creative. Are there certain colors that would be better
That's
to
a good
represent
question.
that?
I could do a whole presentation on color theory. So there is color theory. Actually look it up if you haven't already. What's the main color you guys use right now?
Well, our logo is gray and white.
Gray and white, okay. Yeah, I would use some color then in your brand for sure. my mind like went to like red right away, but more of like a poppy color. I don't know why, that's just where my mind went. I would have to get to know you a little bit better. But my mind's going to like more primary colors, but like not like in your face, like more like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe look at some of your guys' quilts and draw inspiration from that as a color palette. Like, is there one quilt you always have displayed as like the main quilt in your store? Is there one or like fabric that people are really drawn to in your store? Maybe one that really speaks to you and what you're drawn to. And is there colors you can pull out of there? I think that would be a good starting place for you for sure.
All right, thanks.
Yeah. I think, yes.
Hi there. I want to talk about storefront. We don't have a store.
Oh, okay.
We're online, but then we also do a lot of pop-up shops. My husband and I own a hot sauce company. So I'm just wondering, when I wrote down the things like for signage, like the top 3 that you had, storefront, cash wrap, and product signage, if you have any advice for those of us who basically have to build our store every time we have an event.
I'm trying to get to my one example I have in here real quick. Right here. Okay, so she does have a physical store, but this is like her pop-up. So I mean something as simple as like a branded sign she puts on the front of the table. I'm sure you have some sort of banner you use.
Yeah, we have a logo that we have on a banner. It's on our logo stickers. It's on obviously on our product. And then we have a tablecloth for
yep, tablecloth. You can actually get a custom pop-up tent made that you can like actually do the brand pattern on. I actually have so many examples that we've done for clients that I just didn't put in here because I didn't think, pop-ups. But yeah, I think it's the same as when it comes to store signage and things like that. But you're in a more limited space, but think about it like the backdrop of what the pop-up is, where people are checking out, like what your actual tent looks like. There's things that you can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any examples of that on your website then? Or?
Yeah, and on our Instagram. See me afterwards.
I'll definitely take a look. Thank you.
Okay. I know I'm cutting into everyone's lunchtime and you guys want to eat, so I'll try to get as many questions. How many more minutes do we have?
4 minutes.
Okay, I think I can take like 2 more questions. And if you guys have questions afterwards, you can come up to me. Unfortunately, I am not going to be here tomorrow because my daughter is sick, so I have to go home and take care of her. But I will be here for after lunch, so if anyone has any questions or anything, you can come up to me then afterwards too. But I'll try to take a couple more questions.
Hi, you spoke a lot about consistency.
Yeah.
If we're fortunate enough to have someone who helps us with our social and that kind of thing, is there a template for like a brand Bible? Is there tips that you can give to make sure that what we have in our head translates to our team who is doing the work for us?
We have a freebie on our website that's like a DIY brand guideline. So if you guys don't have a brand guideline document that outlines like these are our fonts, these are our colors, these are our logo, we have a download on our website. If you go to our freebie page that you can download and it will kind of help you walk through all those steps. Yeah. Okay, was that all? Oh, one more. Okay, one more question.
When stores post on Instagram and Facebook, do you recommend that we start with like a design from Canva, like when we get new merch, start with that branded piece and then photos of the merch, or just...
I like to have a good mix. So I do think sometimes just photos work well. But if you're like trying to consistently promote that, or maybe you're doing like a very specific sale on that, or maybe you're doing some sort of feature. Like I know, like for example, I do it's like Tap Dance Tuesday, and there's like, that's like in a graphic sort of thing. So I think it just really depends. I don't think every single thing has to be a graphic. You definitely should be mixing in some pictures on there. But when you are sharing a graphic and you want to break it up, maybe you're sharing the shirt 3 times, I think having that graphic in your back pocket is helpful.